Hey everyone, welcome back. So, today I'm going to be doing a video about how to tame a skittish leopard gecko. So, as you may know already, leopard geckos are one of the, easiest reptiles to handle, and they are one of the friendliest reptiles you can get, but a lot of times can be skittish, and, they aren't always used to you right away, so you will need to tame them. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today, and yeah, hopefully this will help you. So yeah, before we get into this, keep in mind that not all leopard geckos can be tamed. Most leopard geckos will tame down eventually if you do it the right way. But not all leopard geckos will tame down. Sometimes that has to do with genetics, and sometimes they just will not tame down. So if you do all these things and it doesn't work, and you're doing it the right way and being as careful as you can, just keep in mind your leopard gecko might just not be tameable, and you might just not want to handle them. So with that, let's get into this video. So, to make this a little bit easier to understand, I'm going to separate it into 3 different phases. So, I'm going to start with the first phase. So, this is when you first get your leopard gecko, and they're not very tame yet. So, when you first get your leopard gecko, it's best to wait like a week or 2 before handling them right away, because it's kind of stressful for them moving into a new place already, and handling them can be even more stressful on them, and stress is not good for them. So it's best to limit the stress as much as possible. And unless they're not at all scared of you and they're okay with being handled, then it's best to wait a while before handling them. So at this stage, if your leopard gecko is kind of skittish, they might kind of try to run away from you when you put your hand in the cage or open it, and they might bite or scream if you get close to them. And this is normal, and you should try to be as careful as possible when you're doing all of this, and try to make it the least stressful you can. Because putting too much stress on them is not good, and you'll want to make it as easy, and you'll just want to be as calm as possible. So, once you've waited for a little bit, and once your leopard gecko is settled in, you can start kind of putting your hand in the cage and just kind of sitting there for a few minutes at a time. Just put your hand in the cage right next to them. If they're comfortable, let them sniff it, let them lick your hand. They might not do this if they're really skittish, but just put your hand up to them. And just do this every day if you can. It's best to do it at nighttime, in the evening or in the morning. Not in the day, because they're nocturnal, and it's best not to disturb their sleep. So yeah, you can just do this once a day, and you can, if they'll eat from your hand, you can also try hand feeding your leopard gecko, because this will this will make them think of you as a good thing, not a bad thing. And it'll make them not be so scared of you, because you're the one who feeds them. So yeah, so you'll just want to repeat this and keep putting your hand in the cage and just letting them see it and know that it's not hurting them. And just keep doing this for a while, until your leopard gecko is more used to you. So if your leopard gecko seems to be calming down around you and is more comfortable with you, then you can move on to phase 2. So At this phase, your leopard gecko should be more comfortable with you. They shouldn't scream or bite, and they shouldn't like run away right away when you put your hand in the cage. They should be pretty comfortable with you and not like be really scared of you. They're probably going to be still a little bit skittish around you, but not as much as before. So at this phase, you can probably start like, if they're out of their hides walking around, you can like, if they're not super scared, you can try to gently, slowly pick them up from under them, not from above or they'll think you're a predator, but from under them, and just like scoop them up really slowly and gently and handle them for maybe a few minutes at a time. And I only recommend you do this like every other day at this point because you'll just want to limit the stress as much as possible. So if you don't really see them out of their hide a lot, you can lure them out with a mealworm or waxworm. Just like put it on your hand, and if you're comfortable with that, and just let them, like if they will eat off your hand, that might lure them onto your hand, and then you can gently scoop them up. But at this point, try not to handle them like for more than 5 minutes at a time, because they will still be kind of skittish around you, and yeah, they're not really gonna want to be handled. So at stage 3, your leopard gecko should be okay with you handling it like for a few minutes at a time. They probably aren't gonna like it, but they shouldn't like run away from you right away when you try to handle like when you try to pick them up, and they shouldn't like run away when you're handling them. And they should be okay with you like luring them onto your hand with food. They should be like, they should eat it out of your hand. So yeah, if your leopard gecko is okay with that, then you can probably move on to phase 3. So at phase 3, you can start handling them more often and for longer amounts of time, but try not to handle them for like more than 10 minutes. So yeah, it's okay for you to pick them up if you do it very gently, and yeah, you can take them to new places and let them explore, and you can also feed them a little bit outside of their cage, and that might make them like want to be handled more because they know that they get food when they're out of their cage. So yeah, so to move on to phase 4, your leopard gecko should be more comfortable with you handling them, and they shouldn't be very skittish when you're handling them. They should be calm on your hand, and they shouldn't be super stressed out like when you're handling them. They also should be fine with like eating a little bit out of their cage. Not all leopard geckos will, but yeah, they just should be overall less skittish around you and think of you more as a good thing. So to move on to phase 4, at this point you can start handling them like a lot more and more often, but don't go over 30 minutes for handling them. And if they start to feel cold, then you should put them back in their cage. So at the most, handle them twice a day. It's best if you don't handle them that often because that's kind of a lot, but at the most, twice a day. So not all leopard geckos will do this, but like you can kind of put your hand out and just see if they'll crawl onto your hand. If they think of you more as a good thing, and if they're a more friendly leopard gecko, once you've tamed them, they might actually crawl onto your hand. And you also, yeah, they should be more fun with you handling them. You can start handling them regularly, and by this point they should be basically tamed. So keep in mind that not all leopard geckos will go through all these phases. So some leopard geckos won't need to go through phase 1, or some leopard geckos might not even be able to go through phase 4. Because all leopard geckos kind of have a different temperament. Like for example, my leopard gecko Mocha right here, she is very friendly and is okay with me handling her, but she never actually really wants me to handle her. She never actually crawls onto my hand. But my other leopard gecko Isri, she actually has crawled onto my hand multiple times before, and she actually likes being handled. But also keep in mind that if you don't start handling your leopard gecko right away, they might not warm up to you very well. So Isri I got when she was like a little baby. She was so tiny. And I started handling her like right from the start. But Mocha, she kind of like, she was older, she was like a juvenile, and I didn't handle her that often. So she kind of hasn't, like, even though I handle her a lot now, she still hasn't really tamed down a lot. So, like, with leopard geckos, basically the more you handle them, the better they get. So you definitely shouldn't overhandle them, because that will stress them out. But if you handle them the right amount and you handle them like regularly, they should tame down pretty well and not be so scared of you anymore. So yeah, I hope this helped you guys, and if you have any questions, or if I didn't mention something, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. And if you weren't subscribed to me already, don't forget to push that subscribe button and push the bell to get notified when I post a new video. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I think that's about it. Bye.